Hello and welcome to another edition of Bruins Weekly. I'm your host, Greg Chamberlain.
And I'm Mark Rodgers. Hold the phones. It's Bruins Weekly.
It's the greatest time of the year, the NHL playoffs.
And it was a great season in hockey this year, and at the end of the year, we will have the top 10 plays of the year.
The Bruins finished the regular season strong, winning 4 out of their last 5.
They had some big wins against the New York Rangers and Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, you know, Mark, I was at that Rangers game, and let me tell you, it was good to see a win for the boys and a huge win heading into the playoff time.
You know what else? The win was also good because it locked up the division for the Bruins, and they nailed down the second seed in the NHL.
With the first game of the Bruins NHL playoff starting tonight, let's take a look at a very tough Washington Capitals team.
The Capitals have not always been a lot of luck in the NHL playoffs. They seem to not have made it past the second round in the past 4 years. They look like they had a lot of promise last year, but they failed to lose to Tampa Bay in the semifinals. You know, Greg, they seem to have a problem hanging up the cleats early in games.
Yeah, the Capitals have always had a good team, but for some reason, when they get in the playoffs, their goaltending and their key players like Alexander Ovechkin have not stepped up.
Exactly. Ovechkin is averaging about 35 goals a year and has seemed to been snake bit during the playoffs, as he averages only about 5 goals in 4 years of the playoffs.
That being said, let's take a look at let's talk about players for the Washington Capitals that have to step up huge to beat the Boston Bruins.
Let's do it. Alex Ovechkin is one of those guys. Am I talking over this?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I am. All right, here we go. Alex Ovechkin is one of those guys who needs to step up in the playoffs if the Capitals want to go far. He is someone who has been an all-star every year that he has been in the league and is an elite player. He'll need to step up his game to make sure he comes through, and if he gets through Zdeno Chara, watch out for the Caps.
Take it down, let the video roll.
You know, if you look at these highlights, you can really tell this guy would be a huge help for the Caps, who is someone very talented.
Yeah, you know, he's a great player. So, you know, see 40-goal season. There you go.
Yeah. Nicholas Backstrom only playing 42 games this year due to injury. He is someone who is going to need to step up and play well for the Capitals. He is one of the top players, and now he is back, and he can make the Caps a very dangerous team if the Bruins stay healthy. For the Bruins, if he still is healthy, sorry. Now just look at these highlights. He's amazing.
Yeah, you know, he had a concussion later on this year and hasn't really been able to come back and had some struggles, but all of a sudden now he's back and he's looking strong.
Yeah, just look at the power in his wrist shots and just his way to find the puck and put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, he's a very, very talented player.
Also, a guy I think is kind of a sleeper that we need to take a look at is Matthew Perreault. He has a decent year this year, and he has gone well against the Bruins. He's a very young and talented scorer, gets about 16 goals this year with 14 assists for 30 points. Perreault is someone who could make a huge impact for the Capitals.
Yeah, you know, he's kind of a young guy. He's only about 22, 23 years old. You know, hasn't really done, not really a well-known player, but has always done pretty well against the Bruins. He had a hat trick against them this year, and I think he's just a guy that people need to pay attention to. He could be a huge part in the playoffs for the Capitals.
And just watching this video, you can see he's a tremendous vision on the ice. Just way to find the back of the net and just good awareness to find the puck right in front of the goal right there off the deflection.
I agree with you, Mark. All those guys are top-tier players for the Caps and well-known in the NHL also. If their goalie situation can fix itself, it should be an interesting series.
Yeah, well, now let's take a look at the Bruins, Greg.
Well, Mark, it's pretty simple. I think for the Bruins, there's one line that needs to step up, and that is going to be the first line, Patrice Bergeron, Tyler Seguin, and Brad Marchand.
Yep, big three.
With Nathan Horton out with a concussion, this line needs to lead the Bruins. Patrice is someone who you know. Patrice is someone that is well known around the Bruins and is one of the best will get the best out of every game. He's a leader here in Boston, looked up to by every player on the Bruins roster. He's one of the best players in the league, in my opinion. He had a huge playoffs last year for the Bees, and I expect nothing less again this year. You know, you can see here, this is a game last year against Tampa Bay that he had that. He's just unbelievable. Wow. He always goes 5-hole, always gets that crease shot. Brad Marchand is also someone who I expect to have another good playoff run out of. He is someone who is a new full-time roster player last year and made a huge impression on the playoffs. He had another great year this year and has been a huge piece to this Bruins lineup.
Yeah, he also has a bunch of intangibles, you know, just works hard, you know, hustles, not afraid to get in a couple fights. Like, those are intangibles that make up a great hockey player.
Yeah, he loves to get greasy in the greasy and grimy areas, and that's a guy you really look for. That's a guy Claude Julien really has on his play. I mean, there's a big hit right there. He's just a guy that's well-talented and can really score and really stepped up. And the last one is Tyler Seguin. Young guy, 20 years old. He is someone who has a great year this year, scoring 29 goals as a second-year player and at 67 points. He stepped up big when needed in the Stanley Cup run last year, and I expect nothing less of him this year.
Absolutely not. You know, it's amazing to find young players like that in the NHL that are just so talented. Like the last one I can think of his caliber at such a young age probably be Sidney Crosby or Ovechkin that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby's a very talented player.
So those are great choices, Greg. Obviously, you forgot Tim Thomas, who is going to need to have another stellar playoff run again if he wants to win the Stanley Cup. I think the Bruins could have another run at again this year, though. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, I think they can. I think that there's a lot of little question marks about the Bruins, but they've been playing well the past couple of games. They finished out the regular season strong. Had some woes in the beginning, had some woes at the end, but I think it's going to get going now.
Now, what about the Bruins?
I think the same thing. I think that they could just get it done.
All right. I mean, I think they can too, Greg. You know, they're my favorite hockey team, so I hope that they have success in the playoffs. So now that we know, Greg, who do you think will win the series and in how many games?
Well, I think that the Capitals are gonna. I think that the Capitals are not just gonna tough it out. I think that they're not gonna be able to keep up with the physical pace of the Bruins. The Bruins have always known to have been a physical team, and if everyone can stay healthy, I think that the Bruins are gonna pull it off in 6. You know, they just need to make sure that they stay strong. They've had some injuries problems throughout the year. Johnny Boychuk going down, Adam McQuaid going down against the Capitals later on in the year. I think that if they can stay healthy and everything can work out for them, and guys can step up who need to step up, then I think you're looking for a pretty good series here.
And something else, Greg, we talked about in our previous episode is their defense has been a little spotty at times. So I think if they can clean up their defensive line, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, with Boychuk down and McQuaid down, it's been kind of tough. They've had some guys come in. Torrey Krug, guy that picked up out of Michigan State. I think that they could figure it out, kind of do what they need to do if something happens. But I think that D's going to be fine and everything's going to be ready to go.
Now, for the end of the show, let's take a look back at some of the greatest plays of 2011, 2012, and throw the package to Sports Center Canada.
Here's Pouliot with a jump in his stride, working against Kulikov. Up ice, Pouliot digs, goes to the middle. Oh! Benoit Pouliot! Merry Christmas! A little delay, curl and drag. Somehow was able to reach in between the skates, still pull it forward.
Not being tied up there by Hannon. Now Rivero goes behind his back. What a move by Rivero! Walking in, lines and doors.
Are you kidding me, Mike Rivero?
Hopefully I'll be on the top 10 on TSN.
Capitals trying to get some of that momentum back. They got early in the period. Ovechkin, a shot, he scores! Ovechkin stepping in from the left circle and scoring against Crawford. Spezza goes up. Ladd runs into Kyle Turris. Spezza dangles in front and scores! Kyle Turris on a dangle by Spezza.
A play by Jason Spezza. Taking advantage of some tired defenders with some sick mitts.
He's done it 8 times before. My goodness. That's it.
Probably about 15 stick handles in front of Nicholas Backstrom.
Wants to move. We have seen it in places like Minnesota before.
Giroux, Timonen shot, stop, scramble. Pavlik down. Oh! What a save by Andrei Pavlik.
Borchak's got an empty net. Oh no, he does not.
Can you say TSN highlight of the night?
McCalling works it out to center. Look at that. Another great play by Crosby to the goal.
Scores! Shame on you, Zidlicki. You have got to be kidding me.
O'Neal has it again. Oh, got it to Walker. Play to it. Nothing.
You can't teach this in hockey school. This is just a gift. I don't care who you are as a defense. There's nothing you can do. Right, Stevie? Nothing you can do in that situation.
I think it's hard to find a point. Here's Duchesne with a can backhander. He scores.
This is unbelievable by 9 and White.
What a toe drag to get that from behind him.
We were in the dressing room and O'Brien kind of walked by me and he imitated the sound of the Sports Center introduction music.
knowing Dutchie, I think he was probably pretty excited knowing it's going to be on the highlight reel.
Hawken, galloping. Hawken to the goal. Scores! Didn't we see this in the first Stanley Cup run against the Minnesota North Stars? But this time it wasn't John Casey in the net. It was Dwayne Rollison. It is so Mario-like.
That about does it for us here on Bruins Weekly. Hope everyone enjoys the game tonight, and let's hope the Bruins get a win. I'm your host, Greg Chamberlain.
And I'm Mark Rodgers. Thanks for tuning in to the Bees.